Hi everyone, this is the BassKeeper, and today I will show you a couple of pictures where I build up my own signature bass. As an additional information, at first, please don't blame me for the dirt you can see on some pictures which are laying around on the floor. I built up the bass in my basement, so it was not the cleanest room, but it was good enough for building up the bass, even for the painting and all this other stuff which needs to be done during the build up. So on the first picture you can see I used a Harley Benton bass. It's a piece-style do-it-yourself kit which I bought on a famous German music site, music store. I will put a link to this part into the description. Now you can see we have here all the necessary parts of the P-Bass. This is the body, the headstock, the fretboard and all this stuff, the plates, the electronics, the pickups, the bridge, and every other necessary part of it. Some of the things like the strings and the pickups I have thrown away. So because I used some better things for that, but you will see that later. First of all, I started with the headstock. As you can see, yeah, we have no real shape on it, so it's really basic. This is used for your own design which you want to use, so I did it. You can see here I made an own form which I found pretty good. I used as a base for it a ESP bass, so as this was fitting a bit better than the usual used one like Fender or so, and also I want to give it a little own touch of it. So you can see it on the edges. It's a little bit sharper than the usual basses you can find, so it looks a bit more like rock. So now you can see I have cutted all the sides. I use a stitch saw for it. And it was a bit tricky to do that because to cut that out, the wood is a little bit thick. And yeah, as you can see on some parts, it was not that clean cutted as I wanted. But yeah, this is nothing special. So if everything can be corrected by sanding and all that stuff. But yeah, I found this is a great shape for it and I like it. So here you can see I put the complete fretboard under painting tape. This is just for the protection of the fretboard itself, as I decided to paint the whole neck and headstock with a special painting, which I found a little bit better as the normal wood color. So it fits a bit more, and yeah. So here we have the body. This is the original body without any kind of sanding. You see I have prepared it for the sanding with some paper. I'm started with the sandpaper in graining of 100, and this goes up until 220 sanding paper, which gives a little matte finish. But this is okay, so I needed that for the painting, otherwise you could have some problems during the painting so that the primer or something else will not really hold on it. So maybe it can fall off or you get some damage when you are touching it, when you are ramming against the table or something like that. So this is the plate which I have used for the electronics. Here it is just typically white with a black outline, and I didn't like it, so I started with the sanding, even with the 100 grain sandpaper up to 220 to make a more or less rough surface on it, to bring the paint on it and to give it a good fitting hold. The same I did with all the necessary parts, with the tuning pack and the plates, the bridges, the knobs on the electronics, for the belt holders, the string holders, and all the necessary parts. As an addition information, you will see at the end that I have replaced some of the parts. Because during the painting I made a huge mistake, but yeah, you will get some additional information about that later. So now you can see I have used again some painting tape to protect the necessary parts. In that case, it isn't important to say that, so because the tuning screws, I threw them away, but yeah. All the other stuff, as you can see, are also sanded again with 100er sandpaper. Even the knobs and all the stuff has been sanded a little bit for fitting the paint. Here I made my own plate for the painting. As you can see, I have marked all the necessary things. I used just a bunch of nails for it to place the things and hold them up a little bit in the air, so nothing will be glued somehow onto the wood, which is also necessary that you get a clean finish on the painting. And of course, everything is necessary to protect yourself. That's why I use a FFP1 protection mask for the painting. It's not the best choice, of course. A real painting mask will be a little bit better, but without it you get even more dizzy through all the fog from the painting. Yeah. Also a pair of gloves are used for it, of course. Everything with the foil protected, that, yeah, not the color is landing on surfaces where you don't want it. So we have everything placed here now on my wooden plate. As you can see, I used some wire, some thick wire, to hold up the caps and some parts of the screws and all the stuff, to hold up the bridge parts and all this shit which is needed for that base. So this is the first thing after I painted all the stuff in copper. I used a huge bunch of different cans of spray paint. First of all, I started to coloring up these parts with a gold glittering color, which was not the best idea because all these kind of effect colors, yeah, will not bring a complete painted finish on it. Some of the parts were still shiny and silver, and so I decided to sand most of the stuff again a little bit to bring up a little bit more rough surface, and then I overpainted it with some copper bronze coloring. Even the same I did with the hammer plate, which I used on the body later. So I think it's a real nice finish on it. It's, yeah, nice coloring, and you will see it will really fit with the color I chose for the body, the neck and the headstock. So now I started here with the primer on the body and even on the headstock and the neck. I just use two ordinary screws and some wire to hold it up in the air, put it everything on the ceiling. which was a real good idea. So I was able to paint the whole stuff from all the sides without any kind of damaged primer or damaged paint. After the primer color, I resanded the stuff again. For this, I used sandpaper with a real higher graining. I started with 400 up to 600. As you can see, some of the primer gets lost, but this is not a bad thing, as you have a real clean, plain surface after you have sanded that. Important here on that part is that you are using wet sanding, so you just use a bunch of water on it and then you are sanding over. And with this you can really remove all the unwanted holes, rips, ripples, riffles, whatever, so that you really get a clean, plain surface. The same goes for the headstock and the neck. So as you can see here, also on some parts the wood comes out again, but yeah, as I said, we have a clean surface. These are the colors which I have used. So mostly I use the Belton color, which is a real good coloring. It doesn't provide a real big amount of fog, which is good, but it smells like hell. So, and without a mask, you get really dizzy with it. So you need really a bunch of fresh air. When I built up this base, we have cold temperatures outside in Germany. So I made the decision to do it in the basement. Otherwise, I had done it in my carport outside of the house, which would be a little bit better. So for all the fresh air. So in this part, yeah, as you can see, I used a bunch of granite effect, lac painting, also some primer. You can see the gold effect painting, also the copper bronze effect painting, and of course a bunch of clear paint. So now you can see the final result of the granite painting. It looks like stone. And this is exactly what I wanted. So I just wanted nothing ordinary, like black or red one or some stripes or something like that. I wanted something special. So, and this was the reason why I choose the effect paint in granite style. As you can see, it looks really like stone, which, yeah, I find this is something special. I have never seen a bass or even a guitar or something in that coloring. So yeah, this is pretty unique. So as you also can see, I made a shielding inside of it. I used copper band for it, which is normally, yeah, used for protection of flowers. But yeah, it also can be used as a shielding. We have a bunch of overlaying parts here. I cut them off, otherwise you will see them under the hammer plate. And yeah, this is needing to avoid brums and additional tones which you don't want it. It's working like a grounding shield. And yeah, this was not included in the original body part, so I decided to make my own one. A good protection inside for the electronics is always important to avoid these unnecessary tones which you don't want. So I just recommend to use it if you want to do your own. So after I removed the painting tape, I put in the first parts for the tuning packs. So it looks nice, it looks clean, there was no yeah, overrunning paint on the sides or something. Also now you can see on the top of the picture the copper band foil which I have used for the shielding. So then I decided to use not the original pickups. So as I said at the beginning, I threw them away and I bought some new ones. In that case, I used some SPB3 pickups from Seymour Duncan. After some research, I figured out that these called really the pickups which I needed for my style of sound, as I want a crunchy, deep, yeah, groovy rocking sound out of it, and that's why I choose these kind of pickups. Now you can see I have mounted all the necessary parts now into the body, like the bridge below or under the bridge. You can also find the ground wire which is going to the electronics. In that case, it's not that really necessary, as I have used the shielding inside of the electronics. But it's always better to connect the bridge with the ground wire to, yeah, remove these broom sounds, these crackle sounds and all that stuff. Also, the Seymour Duncan pickups are fitting pretty well, so I made the right decision to choose them. As you can see, the screws of the tuning knobs and all that stuff are not painted. The caps are, so that's why it was not necessary to paint them also. But I painted the output jack to make, yeah, a nice finish on it. And as you can see, in my opinion, the copper bronze style head plate, hammer plate and bridge is really looking nice on this granite effect painting. So for the strings, the originals are also, yeah, landed in the trash bin. I used some DR strings, the Black Beauty ones, in the strength of 45 up to 105. So with the high performance coating, these are complete black strings. They are looking pretty fine on the bass. As you can see here, we have the final result. Also, I used some kind of fret stickers to remove the fret dots. I used Celtic cross stickers here. I used fret stickers on all my basses. So also on my guitars, there is, yeah, none in my collection without it. So, and I like cross style. So on my other bass, I have an iron cross. So this is the usual Ibanez I used in my other videos you have seen, on my Rocksmith videos. But here I decided to use some Celtic ones, because Celtic, Nordic, stone, granite makes sense somehow. And yeah, as you can see, I have used different turning screws here on the tuning packs, because I made a huge mistake during the coloring, that the painting was a little bit too thick. So I directly screwed up a couple of cogwheels on the backside of the tuning packs. So I had to buy new tuning packs for it. The only thing are the string knobs, which I have used again. I sanded them again a little bit to bring up the pure metal again, that they can, yeah, rotate inside of the headstock. And yeah, this was really the trick which saved me, that I haven't break the second tuning packs. So as you can see, real nice black strings here. Everything is fine adjusted. The bridge is completely adjusted for the toning, the in tuning and everything, the intoning, everything is done pretty well. Even the high of the strings is correctly measured out. All the stuff is fitting well. The sound is fine on it. So you can see it looks pretty fine with these copper knobs and all that stuff. Yeah, it was a huge fun to build that up. At least I can say you used really huge amount of painting on it. We are talking about 1.6 liters of coloring. So we have 800 ml of this granite effect paint and also additional 800 ml of clear paint. And last but not least, of course, I searched for a company where I can create my own signature foil so that I can put my own signature on my bass, which I have done. I will also put a link into the description to that company. So a huge thanks to MyFolie here in Germany. It took a bit time until I received the foil for the signature, but after I was here, yeah, I was finally able to finish this project. As you can see on the knobs of the strings, yeah, we have some damage on the painting, but this is wanted. So during the coloring and the sanding and all that stuff, I've figured out that maybe it would look cool to have some small damage inside of the painting, which makes a bit more look like a bit more like handcrafting style with a rougher surface and all that stuff, which in my opinion fits really well into the stone coloring effect painting. So, and now at the end I will give you a small introduction of the bass that you can hear how it sounds. And yeah, at the end I just can say I hope you enjoyed this collection of pictures I have made during the building up. If you have some questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. If you like it, so give a thumbs up. Maybe you put also in a subscription if you want. So and I hope, yeah, I can see you in one of my next videos. And if you are like to build up your own bass, I just can say do it. So experience is not really necessary. You will get the experience during the build up. You will see what faults you have done, what faults you will never do again. So like me, like the tuning packs and all that stuff. So, and this it is for today, and now enjoy the sound. This was your BassKeeper.